My name is Nick Sumski. I'm a senior history major here at PC, and my research for the presentation is my senior thesis, which I wrote on the Iranian Revolution. Its title is A Union of Negatives, Ayatollah Khomeini and the Mobilization of Dissent in the Iranian Revolution of 1979. I really became interested in Middle Eastern politics after taking Dr. Margaret Manchester's class on the history of the modern Middle East in the fall of my junior year. As it became increasingly clear that I was going to write a senior thesis, I knew I wanted to write on some Middle Eastern topic, but I wasn't quite sure what. Then in February 2011, when Mubarak was overthrown in Egypt and we started seeing growing unrest in Libya and Yemen and Syria now, I really decided I wanted to write on some of these revolutionary movements. And I eventually decided to look back in recent history to the Iranian Revolution of 1979. After coming across my research, it really became clear that the Iranian Revolution was, in many ways, a failure. And the failure of this revolution, it can sort of offer a cautionary warning to today's revolutionary fighters so that the horrors of post-revolutionary Iran are not repeated today. The Iranian Revolution overthrows Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who's the Shah of Iran. He's an American-supported ruler, and in his place, Ayatollah Khomeini becomes the leader of the first Islamic Republic. Because the Islamic Republic becomes led by this radical Islamic cleric, Khomeini, there's this popular perception that the entire country is full of religious radicals, and my research determined that that's not really the case. In many ways, there's a lot of moderate dissidents throughout this movement who really wanted to open up more political participation. And once Khomeini seizes power, he completely disregards their requests, even though they enabled his rise to power, and he starts, brutally repressing them, just like the Shah had done throughout his reign. And because of the religious nature of this movement, I found that there's really three other big key considerations to the revolution that are not as often discussed. The first is economic failures. The Shah doesn't have a clear economic policy. As the worldwide recession hits in the 1970s, more and more Iranians are pushed out of work and pushed into the slums of cities, and they become susceptible to these more radical revolutionary ideas. The second big consideration was the intellectual movement. The intellectuals have this great ability to reach out to the masses, and the way that they can bring this message of getting rid of Western involvement in their country was very interesting. And also, the third final point was the nature of the police state. The Shah has a secret police force, Savak, and they arrest and they torture and they murder the Shah's enemies. There's official and unofficial executions. And because Savak was so brutal in their repression, the different facets of the opposition realized the only way to overthrow the Shah would be to join Khomeini. The title of my thesis is A Union of Negatives. There's all of these different groups throughout Iran who are against the Shah for one reason or another. And Khomeini is a very cunning politician, and he keeps his plans for the future very purposefully ambiguous so that they join him, and he's able to bring together all of the negativity to take down the Shah. So really, it was a revolution against the Shah, but not for Khomeini. The warnings of this revolution are definitely very important, and I think it can be definitely applicable to today's revolutionary fighters in the Middle East.